good day, viewers. Welcome to my channel. This is Radical Science. If today is the first time of visiting my channel, all I want you to do is to hit the subscription button and also turn the subscription bell on so that anytime I post in this channel, you can be able to get notification to enable you watch our videos anytime we post. So on today's edition, I'll be giving you a tutorial on this year 2025 JUPEB chemistry practical. So all I want you to do is to pay attention and remember, do not skip this video. So I want us to take a look at the question, the instruction given as far as this practical is concerned. With this, you'll be able to know what to expect in your exam. Okay, so now let's take a look at the instruction. Here, number one, they said A is acetic acid. Prepare 1.5 gram in 250 milliliter of solution. B says B is sodium hydroxide. Prepare 4 grams of sodium hydroxide in 1000 milliliter of the solution. So what we are going to do is we are going to be preparing 1.5 gram of this acetic acid in 250 milliliters of solution. So that is what we are going to do. Now, and again, we are going to be preparing 4 grams of sodium hydroxide in 1000 milliliter of solution. So all you need to do is just to pay attention to this. Okay, now, as a student writing this exam, you do not need to know how to prepare this. Okay, you do not need to know how to prepare this or how to prepare this. On that very day in the exam hall, this reagent or this solution will be prepared and kept for you on the table. So it is now your duty to follow instruction, titrate and get your values. Okay, so here now, you'll be using volume of pipettes to be 25 cm cube. Indicator used, we'll be using phenolphthalein. Okay, so on the table of value, we'll have our burette reading, which will be in centimeter cube. Here we have the final reading, initial volume of acid used, and the average volume of acid used. Okay, so on this we have the rough. So I will advise you to as well put the rough in your readings, and also we have the first reading, second reading, and the third reading. And I believe for you to be able to calculate the average volume of acid, you add up 1, 2, 3, then divide it by 3. Once you divide it, you get your average volume of acid, which is when you add up your volume of acid used, which is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, then you divide it by 3. That will now give you your average volume of acid. Okay, so I want you to pay attention to this video because I'm going to be taking it step by step so that you don't get confused. Okay, now, even without titrating, let us look at the volume of acid that we should be expecting. Or possibly, I know many of you came to this channel now just for you to know your endpoint. Now, let us see what kind of endpoint are we expecting. What kind of average are we expecting? Now, how you do it even without titrating, let me show you how you do it and get it exactly. Okay? Okay, so now I want us to look at the equation for reaction. Now, the equation for reaction, which is acetic acid reacting with sodium hydroxide. Now, acetic acid is given to us as CH3COOH. Okay? This is acetic acid. Now, reacting with sodium hydroxide. Now, when it reacts with sodium hydroxide, it will give us CH3COONA plus H2O, which is water. Okay, so now the molar ratio here now is 1:1. That is the molar ratio. Okay, so for us to now calculate or to have our expected average volume of acid, all we need to do is, first of all, okay, so we are going to, number one, let us calculate the mole of sodium hydroxide used per titration. So all you need to do is just to pay attention to this. I'm going to show you how you can get your expected average volume of acid even without titrating. Though we'll still titrate, but let's get this. With this now, it will now show you or give you insight of what you should be expecting during your titration. Okay, first, we are going to find the molar mass of sodium hydroxide. Now, under the molar mass of sodium hydroxide, now we already know that sodium hydroxide is 40 grams per mole. Okay, 40 grams. This is the molar mass of sodium hydroxide. Now let us now calculate it in 1000 ml. So sodium hydroxide in 1000 ml, which is the mole in 1000 milliliter, which will now give us 4 divided by 40 grams per mole. Okay, so when we now divide it, 4 divided by 40, it will give us 0.1 gram per what? Per mole. So this is what it will give us in mole. Okay, remember our volume of pipette. The volume of pipette we are using is 25 cm cube. Okay, 25 cm cube. So we are going to be calculating mole in 25 cm cube. So in mole in 25 cm cube, what we are now going to do is 0.1 gram per mole times 25. Okay, times 25 cm cube divided by 1000. So when we do it, it will give us 0.0025 moles. Okay, this is what it will give to us, 0.025 mole. Now that is for sodium hydroxide. Now let us calculate for acetic acid. Let's calculate for acetic acid. Now the molar mass of acetic acid, which is CH3COOH, the molar mass, if you calculate all of them together, you have 60 grams per mole. Okay, now let's calculate mole in 250 milliliter of the solution. Now, so on that we are now going to be having 1.5 divided by 60. Okay, just what the same thing we did here. We are still going to do it here. 1.5 divided by is the 1.5, then divided by the molar mass, which is 60 grams per mole. So when we now punch our calculator, it will give us 0.025 moles. Okay, that is what it will give us, 0.025 moles. Okay, so now the next thing you are going to do now is you will now say 0.025 divided by this now will now be 0.25. If you now punch your calculator, to give you the same thing it gave us here, which is 0.1 gram per mole. Okay, 0.1 gram per mole. So now we have gotten the moles of that of sodium hydroxide and acetic acid. Now the next thing is for us to now look at our expected volume of acid. How do we get our expected volume of acid? Remember, here now this one and this one is the same. And under the molar ratio of this sodium CH3COOH plus sodium hydroxide. Now it will give us CH3COONA, which is the salt, plus water. Okay, so if you look at the molar ratio, it is 1:1. So on that, for us to neutralize 0.025 moles of this, all we now need to do is, okay, all we now need to do is 0.0025 mole divided by 0.1. Remember, I said earlier that this mole of acetic acid and the mole of the sodium hydroxide are the same. Okay, and if you also look at the molar ratio, you will still see that it is 1:1. So all you now need to do is, we will now do 0.0025 divided by 0.1 moles. Okay, 0.1 mole. It will now give us 0.025. This is what it will give us, 0.025. Now when you will now convert it to milliliter, it will give you 25 cm cube. Okay, so this is our expected volume of acid. So on that case, we can now deduce this particular part. Okay, you can now deduce this particular part, use it to fill in. So all you need to do, you can come to your rough and do 25.9, and here you put 0.00, then you come here and put 25.90. Okay, 25.90. Now since this is your rough, you will now come here using the value you have here. You can now do your initial to be 0.0. Then you come here and do 25.00, and you come here and do 25.00 as well. Now you come over to this place and do, let's say, 25.10. Then here now is 25. Okay, here is 00. Then 25.10. Okay, then you come back here and do 25.00, 25. Okay, then here you come back here and 25.00. Okay, now all you now need to do is, this one now, it will be removed. So you will now do 25.00 plus 25.10 plus 25.00 divided by 3. So when we now do it, it will still give us 25.00. Or now let's take a look at it. We say 25.00 plus 25.10 plus 25.00 divide, which is equal to 75, to give us 75.1. Now divided by 3, it will give us 25.0. This is what it will give us. So it should now be 8 cm cube. Okay, so that is our expected volume of acid. So with this now, we have been able to get our expected volume of acid. So we'll now go over to the titration and see if what we got here is actually what we are going to get during our experiment or during our titration. Okay, so that is, by the way, now let us, okay, So for your titration, all you need to do is, first of all, you ensure that you raise this properly. Raise it properly. As you can see, I have already raised it with the acetic acid. Okay, the acetic acid. Remember what I told you? These chemicals or these solutions will be prepared and kept on your table on the day of your exam. So once you enter the exam hall, you will meet your solutions. Now the next thing is for you to follow the instruction and add the chemicals wherever you are asked to add it. So on today tutorial, I'll be adding our acetic acid. So here I have my funnel. I have my funnel here. So I put my funnel. So this is my acetic acid. So I'm going to be filling it up to 0 level. I'm going to be filling it up to 0 level. But before you do that, you first of all remove this and then going to so it is at the 0 level. Okay, so the next thing there is I'm going to be pipetting my base, which is the sodium hydroxide solution, which I have already prepared, which is that of B. Okay, so I'll discharge it in here. So I will take my phenolphthalein. Remember what we are using is phenolphthalein. I will take phenolphthalein and add few drops of phenolphthalein. Can you see it? Now after adding the phenolphthalein, we have a purple color. Now the next thing you do is you begin to titrate. Please, if you have any question as far as this is concerned, all you need to do is you drop a comment in the comment section, and I promise you that I will give you answer to your question. And also, if you need any assistance as far as this exam is concerned, all you need to do is just chat me up using the WhatsApp number on the screen, or you join our Telegram or Facebook group where you get all the assistance that you need. Our aim is to ensure that you come out with a flying color in order to pursue that course which you have been dreaming of. So let us proceed. So we are going to be refilling again. Naphthalene, and then just 3 drops of phenolphthalein. Okay, just 3 drops of phenolphthalein. Then we begin to titrate. So here we have 25.0. So you can see